Welcome to Cooking with Matthew's Fresh Market. We'll feature what's fresh and delicious and show you what to do with it. One of the great things about March is corned beef. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of meat. And of course, everyone enjoys, corned beef and cabbage. This is a 3.5 pound brisket. Now, the reason they call it corned beef is because back in the olden times, that salt that they used to cure it looked like pieces of corn, big chunks of salt, so corned beef. It's basically pickled meat, okay? You cook it low and slow, about an hour a pound at about 325 is going to give you a beautiful piece of corned beef. So you've had it, right? You've had potatoes and cabbage and you've had this delicious, and now what do? Because once you cut these nice slices off the flat end, for your dinner or for your sandwich, that's great. But you're kind of stuck with this funny shaped bit over here. What to do with it, right? This recipe comes from the Philippines. And you don't normally think of corned beef and the Philippines, but back in the day, during the war with the soldiers and stuff, there's a lot of canned corned beef on the Philippine Islands. They've come up with a ton of stuff to do with it. But what I thought was, instead of the traditional American corned beef and cabbage and corned beef hash, I want to show you a different way to do it. So the funny piece, the leftover piece of the corned beef, this is about close to a pound, okay? I'm going to cube it up into little edible pieces. We're going to saute it with a whole bunch of other good Filipino type stuff, and you're going to have some really nice corned beef. So while I'm chopping the meat, I'm going to saute these onions. And yeah, it's a lot of onions, but this is a really big meaty dish, and you kind of need those other flavors to sort of offset the salty heaviness of that corned beef. So a lot of onion goes in this, a lot of garlic, tomatoes, all that good stuff. So what I'm doing now with this really, really nice corned beef is just making it into good little bite-sized pieces. The key to a hash is everything being the same size. So the onions, the tomatoes, the potatoes, the corned beef, they're all kind of the same size. That way they cook really well. The nice thing too is this beef. It's Painted Hills beef. It's local. It's really, really nice. It doesn't have any of that weird over-salted kind of chemically flavor that sometimes you can get with corned beef. This is good stuff. The onions look great. Garlic goes in, and a lot of garlic, like 5 cloves. I'm not messing around. And remember too, this is an Asian influenced dish, so it's not going to be your typical hash. Let that cook for about 30 seconds. In go the tomatoes. Boop. And in go the potatoes. You know it's time to add the corned beef when your potatoes are tender. It's about 10 minutes, but taste them. They're your potatoes, so taste them and see if they're nice and soft. So this is how we do it. Yeah. Oh, they're good. Okay, so the tomatoes in this add a real, not only a fresh flavor, but they give it a little more liquid, so you don't get that real heavy, dense kind of hash. It's really, well, you'll see. Anyway, so now you just dump in your corned beef, and you're going to let that cook on low for about 10 more minutes. If you don't stir it, it will form a nice crust. If you do stir it, that's okay too. But what you really want to do is warm the meat back up and then melt the fat that's on some of it, because that can be a little weird, big mouthful of corned beef fat. But look at this. So it's a pound of basically leftover corned beef, a potato, a tomato, a giant onion, but this is a lot of food. And if you put an egg on top, woo. So this definitely looks done. I'm going to go in for a little taste with my taste fork and make sure it's okay. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's good. So we basically took a nice piece of leftover meat and made a really big meal in about 15 minutes. So when you serve this, think about bringing those flavors up, because this is intense. It's salty and rich and beefy. So bring some brightness to that, maybe a little bit of lemon zest, always good with the lemon zest. Of course, our friend sriracha, love, 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 love. And especially if you are going definitely toward the Philippine side of this dish, definitely hot sauce, maybe some minced cilantro. Brighten it up is what I'm saying. So put some of this on your plate, put your brighteners on there, and realize that there's way more to corned beef than corned beef and cabbage. Today's recipe can be found on our website, matthewsfreshmarket.com, or you can check my website, thepantryraid.com. See you next time.